This is the perfect sniper rifle. It can fire supersonic bullets. The most terrifying part is, once hit, the wound will bleed uncontrollably. Killua looked at the bullet in his hand, and realized it was actually a flea. And in that very instant, the man finished charging, firing a bullet in the next second. The bullet struck Killua's neck once again. However, the enemy's position was a full 10,000 meters away. Such precise shooting was possible, thanks to the dragonfly man in the sky. His eyes functioned like a satellite system, not only tracking the target's location, but also predicting their next moves. Bleeding profusely, Killua closed his eyes, wrapping his entire body in none. The moment the bullet approached, he deliberately took the hit, confirming the sniper's position. Then, Killua charged toward the enemy, finally locating them. Just as the enemy tried to flee, Killua teleported above their head, thinking he had the upper hand. The next moment, tentacles shot out from the man's mouth, tightly binding Killua, attempting to drag him down in a mutual demise. But surprisingly, Killua used the tentacles to cling to the wall, saving the enemy from falling as well. Seeing the situation turn against him, the octopus man suddenly tried to escape, yet in the next second, Killua chased him down, cornering him completely. With his weapon suppressed, and his tentacles bleeding heavily, the octopus man thought it was over, but Killua said, "If you reveal the dragonfly man's intel, I'll let you go." However, the seemingly cowardly octopus man refused to betray his comrade. He severed his own tentacles, and plummeted toward the piranha pool, but at that moment, Killua reached out and saved him. Had they not met as enemies, they might have become friends. Killua threw the octopus man to the shore, only to be bitten by piranhas himself. Just moments ago, they were foes, yet now, his former enemy was desperately saving him. But what the octopus man didn't expect was that this was all an act by Killua. In the next second, the piranhas were dealt with. However, behind him, a mysterious figure had tagged him. Back on the ground, a strange sound suddenly echoed in Killua's mind. The next moment, a fish-shaped arrow pierced the back of his hand. Unable to even sense the enemy's presence, he was like a living target, relentlessly attacked. Every time the enemy threw a dart, a fish arrow would strike Killua's body. These weren't real fish. They were the nun abilities of an enemy lurking in the shadows. Staring at the water surface, Killua finally realized he had become the enemy's bullseye. The enemy controlled everything from afar, leaving Killua helpless, forced to watch as the fish arrows pierced him. When the enemy launched their final attack, the dartboard score reset, and Killua completely lost consciousness. The enemy finally revealed themselves, but just as the two celebrated their victory, their heads suddenly separated from their bodies. Killua had been pretending to die all along. The fish arrows embedded in his head had suction cups, and hadn't actually harmed him. He had seen through the enemy's ability, catching the moment the darts materialized. By attaching the suction cups, he faked being hit. As a former dart champion, Killua precisely calculated the enemy's throwing trajectory, predicting where the next strike would land, and successfully avoided the damage. Though he defeated the enemy, Killua had lost too much blood, and his vision began to blur. Just as he thought he might die, the octopus man suddenly reappeared, lifting Killua onto his back and rushing him to the hospital.